Am I live? Yes. Hey, everybody. This is your host of TPIM SR Live. True Power is Mine. Today's date, June 12th, 2019, the year of our Lord. For those of you who are not aware, they're about ready to add $3 more trillion to our national debt. It's a beautiful time to be alive, is it not? There it is. Federal spending tops $3 trillion. Deficit spirals. Now we got $3 trillion for illegal health care. What's up? 411-444-000-2300 days. Good evening, my brother. Brother Bird, welcome to the show. So, really, these numbers right here are inaccurate. I would imagine we'll probably have to pay about $212,000 each. What's up, Brother Murders? Welcome to the show. Dot Lecture. D. Griffin's in the house. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I guess it's good that we all get this bad news together. Peace and power. $3 trillion. Also, guys and gals and everything in between. Hopefully, you guys saw that video about the new hate speech. Really not new, but what YouTube's going to implement. So I guess the show has to become a little more smarter and more sophisticated. For those of you who haven't followed Mark from Anaheim on Facebook, here's his Facebook link. Political Sarcasm 101. Awesome channel. So no. And hopefully the sound's a lot better too as well. Great things have been happening. Let me... There, so you can see the headlines. Let's just go over some of the headlines, shall I? U.S. cities overwhelmed with illegals from Ebola countries. And we all should know that Ebola... I don't even want to really say this, but I am. Demonetization or not, be damned. It's a ethno-specific virus, bacteria, bioweapon. Apparently, these people weren't screened, whereas most of the melanated communities basically concentrated throughout the United States and major metropolitan areas. So let's send in this. It's going to be horrible, y'all. It's going to be horrible. California desert town sees immigrant surge as crisis worsens. Non-stop dumping, new phenomenon. Oklahoma Army base to house, probably illegals. Crawling out of manholes in El Paso's private wall group ordered to keep gates open. Watch 1,000 pour in. Senator. Drug trafficking business from Mexico larger than Walmart. Census. Average illegal has lived in the United States for 15 years. Longest on records. You know, I was talking to one of my brothers out there on the road driving a big truck. I asked him, I was like, you know what? What's up, Brother Al? Welcome, brother. What would happen if you took that big truck on down to Mexico calling yourself you're going to get some free health care and some goodies? He said, they'll lock my ass up. I'll be in a prison. But yet everyone comes. You know, we got $3 trillion, y'all. Look at this. And that's on top of this. But we can't pay out reparations to black folks. No, can't do that. We can't do that. Hold on, let me call Dr. Short, man. You guys want me to call Dr. Short? I feel like calling Dr. Short. Have him add something. Hold on. Let me first I need to make sure. I know I really should have done this prior to the show. But you know how I am, gal. Just another reminder, Mark from Anaheim will be on the Carl Nelson show tomorrow. Okay. Hold on. There he is. All right. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay. Hold on. I'll let you get up here on this brand new microphone. You know, you're a show contributor. Which brother is that? Brother Murder. Yes, this is the only show in the world that calls like people. Hold on. How come I'm not hearing this? Hold on 1 second. I think. There it is. We got it now. We got it now. This is how we do this show.
You have reached the voicemail box.
Hold on. That was close. Brother, pick up the phone. Hello? Hold on. What is... All right, I can hear you. It's all good, brother. How you doing? Brother Murder's on the line.
I'm excellent, sir. How about yourself?
Man, I am discombobulated with this horrible news today. You know, we can evidently have money to feed and house everybody all over the world, but brothers and sisters people's been in these United States in dire straits for over the past 400 years get nothing. And that's coming from Bernie Sanders, your buddy Bernie. That's coming from Joe Biden, and not so many words as well. And you know Trump don't even speak on the reparation issue, so we're not even going to go there. What is your thoughts on that, sir?
I mean, you know, excuse me. I mean, you know, as I've said before, you know, everything is by design. Everything is intentional. Don't ever sit here and think, you know, speaking to the audience, don't ever sit here and think that things happen by accident or mishap. Everything happens because the rich and powerful want these things to happen. If there's 3 million more, excuse me, not 3 million, 3 trillion more being added to our debt, it's nothing more than a cash grab for the rich and powerful.
Yep.
You have a bunch of rich and powerful guys getting pieces of this 3 million that's being spent. And I mean, some of these rich and powerful guys can go down to the president himself, all the way down to what? You know, basic low-level government employee. You know, these guys spend money that's being printed out on a constant basis.
Yes.
The Federal Reserve prints out money, you know, regularly with certain consonants. You know, we're subject to things like supply side economics, Keynesian economics, so on and so forth. Yeah, that's the dynamic that's at play. But in reality, the Fed could print as much money as it wants to and not have any effect on the economy, so to speak.
Right.
All these things are fabricated. All these things are orchestrated. So, you know, anything that they subject the average person to, like an economic depression, you know, the Great Depression itself was orchestrated. One of the great short sellers on stock in this country was Joe Kennedy, who was what? The father of JFK, who ended up getting his head blown off because, unlike his father, he didn't know how to play ball.
He doesn't.
You know what I'm saying?
He played ball with the wrong people. He tried to injure the wrong people, and they injured him instead.
Absolutely. He tried to use his, you know, not to get off on a JFK tangent, but he tried to use his position as president to, you know, kind of change things around a bit in his favor. And you've seen what happened once again in Dallas, you know, so on and so forth. So, I mean, you know, when it comes to this money and 3 trillion being added to the debt, 50 trillion, the money game is orchestrated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's no real, I mean, the only people that are subject to the money game are those that don't have it, so to speak.
But there is consequences nationally repercussions for us to have this much debt, especially going into this trade war / soon to be hot war with China and Russia.
Right, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, as much as it is a game, this game has deadly implications. This game has deadly consequences.
It does. And these are, I really want people to understand, we're talking about people actually dying because they were so naive to think that somehow magically this thing was all going to work out. I'm telling you, brother, it's not going to work out unless we work it up.
Right. I agree. I don't disagree at all.
Now,
I mean, what? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have a question for you. What the hell is going on in the Dominican Republic? What do you think's going on down there?
Well, actually, you have to kind of have to inform me a little bit. It's one of those smaller countries I don't really.
Well, basically, what's going on down there? Basically, American tourists. I'm not going to speak on why they're going down there. I said that in past shows and that were demonetized. Basically, they're getting murdered and poisoned and kidnapped and beat.
Well, basically, any place that an American goes to that's, a foreign country, people know the difference between a regular citizen of that country in question and an American. American is going to dress differently than what, say if I take a trip to, Nigeria. If I'm wearing Levi jeans and a polo shirt, you're going to know, A, I'm an American, and B, I have some type of money on me. Excuse me. And secondly, I mean, are you taking another call?
No, that was another person that's calling me. Confidential informant.
But you have to understand that as far as even the lowest, say whatever happens to an average American was based on a attack from a Dominican Republic street gang or street cartel, basic low-level guys that don't know shit themselves. You have to understand that these things are orchestrated. Things are allowed to happen to you rather than things just happening.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, I understand what's going on, but a lot of this stuff, any type of, the Dominican Republic has its own heritage, it has its own history, so on and so forth. But, if you ask the average white person, you're still a black. And what's going on is there's an orchestration of black aggression versus white people or America in general.
Well,
all things orchestrated.
On the site, basically, somebody's brother, Barbara Cornran, brother Johnny, mysteriously found dead in Dominican Republican hotel room. They're killing white folks. They're killing white folks up in here, and that's the issue. We are at a point to where now a lot of us don't understand how this information is being received. You see, this is going to energize people who want to harm black people because they're going to feel as well. The black folks are already rising up in the DR, so we're going to have to shut this shit down.
Absolutely, sir. You hit the nail right on the head.
That's what this is all about.
Where this country is at this point in time, not just with the president, but the overall atmosphere that's in the air, politically, economically. You have to push this country, as far as the rich and powerful are concerned, you have to push this country to a point where white people once and for all pick a side. You are either with, the right side, and
right.
You're right, you're wrong. You're right, the right side, which is right-wing, fascist dictatorship. You have to cling to a man like Donald Trump versus others who object, others who are against the racism, the bigotry.
But name me one white politician, man, that's really meets all those criteria you just said.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Name me one white politician male that meets the criteria she just said. That's the anti-Trump. He's one who's not racist, not misogynist, because I can't think of one.
I mean, I'm on the same page with you. You can name a guy like, what's his name? Bernie Sanders.
Racist.
He flat out told black people as a Democrat, you're not getting reparations.
Right.
You're not getting anything for what your great-great-grandfather did back in the day to pretty much establish this country as the power that it is now.
Right.
You know, you're not getting anything. And
right.
I mean,
but he won't say nothing
Sanders
about Israel.
Masonic connections, so on and so forth. That's not necessarily the whole point. The point is, there's not a single white politician who has black people's favor or feels the need to appeal or patronize black people in general. That's what's horrifying in a sense about this day and age. Nobody's really pandering to blacks. Nobody.
Because they don't give a damn, brother.
I'm sorry?
They don't give a damn about us. We have been so discombobulated as a unit that they see no need to appease us or need to even recognize the problems that we collectively face.
You're right. I don't disagree with you at all. If anything, I want to say that post-Obama, black people really don't know their head from their ass, coming from a point where pre-Obama, there was some hope from black folks because they fought for something of substance, something of meaning. But after we got that silly half Negro in office, remember now, his mother was white, his father was
Kenyan.
Kenyan. Yeah, yes, sir. His father was Kenyan. He wasn't even an American Negro as far as, you know, what you expect or what you know. After that man finishes 8 years in office, black folks really don't know their heads from the ass because black people see the same superficial stuff in Trump that, you know, it's basic stuff in Trump that black people, it's like. You're not seeing the fact that he's here to usher in right-wing fascism, dictatorship, where basically a brother like me, a brother like you, is what? We're gone from this place one way or another.
Oh, yeah. Whether we get STD'd out or cancered out or just shot out straight up, we have been marked for deletion, and they're running the damn program.
Absolutely. I don't disagree. But the average black person isn't seeing that if they're putting, I'm not going to say Mexicans, but Hispanic, Spanish-speaking people from Spanish-speaking countries on this continent, Guatemala, Mexico, you name it. If they're putting these people in camps where they're eating spoiled food, where the officers of that camp are putting nooses inside the cells, basically encouraging you to either deal with this situation
or kill yourself
or hang yourself.
Wow.
Not to mention, Brother Pat, these are children, because remember now, what they've done is they've kept the children here in this country. They've expedited the parents back to their home country.
And they're keeping children probably to fuel the child sex industry.
Not just that, I personally come to believe that they're trying to create this American ISIS, so to speak.
Use children warriors, children soldiers?
It's not distant possibility because they do it in Africa.
You know, that's almost like I'm sorry, go ahead.
You've heard about the child soldiers that are in Boko Haram and several other African factions. They've done it in Africa. It's all orchestrated by, for lack of an extensive term, white folks. You know what I'm saying? This is all orchestrated. But what I believe they're doing partially is they're orchestrating an American ISIS. You have these pissed off, drugged out American, in a sense, Hispanic kids that have been separated from their parents, they're separated from their home country, and they've been tampered with.
Mm-hmm. You think they've been touched, or do you think they've been medical tampered with?
On top of the spoiled food and the nooses being hung up in the cells, these kids are also being exposed to what? Antipsychotic medications that they don't even need.
Wow. Wow.
And I mean, none of this is just hidden information or secret information. You can look up any of the BS. All of it is BS. Major news networks or outlets, The Guardian, Washington Post, they covered that. They willingly told you this is what's going on in these Mexican, Hispanic, camps.
Well,
They are fomenting a force that is to be used against the American people, just like they did with the Bolshevik Revolution. They've done the same thing with the Nazis. They funded all this shit. So I mean, what they're doing with these Hispanic children is nothing different.
well,
It's the building up of a American ISIS. Excuse me.
I think it's a buildup of dead people. We got to realize a lot of the Hispanic workforce coming in here is going into the agricultural industries. Now, I just wanted to reiterate the story, and this is coming from a reputable or authoritative news source. All right. Cereals contain Roundup ingredients, study finds. So if the cereal has Roundup in it, don't you think the people working out there in the fields have Roundup in them as well? Because they do. That shit drifts. It sticks around and it drifts. Now,
Absolutely. And I mean, if you consume it, it's absolutely by nature
Cancerville.
inside of you. I mean, you eat the same tomatoes. They come from California, picked by an immigrant worker, just like I do. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, to be honest, it's inescapable. You want to talk about just the Roundup? Imagine the microplastic that's in the
Fish?
bottled water that me and you drink every single day.
Well, yes, the
And it's
microplastic.
so small, not to cut you off, but it's so small that the average person can't even see it. You honestly have to take a bottle of water that you got from the corner store, the gas station, whatever, put that under a flashlight. I guarantee, as clean and as pure as the company claims it to be, it has crap in it. It has microplastic. That stuff builds up in your body. It's building up in the bodies of whales out in the sea,
Yep.
sharks.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
The
Like,
crabs,
this stuff
the
isn't
lobsters.
exclusive just to nature. You are subject to what's going on.
Uh-oh. This is so cool, bro. I don't know if did you see my show I did earlier today about the Hong Kong protests over there?
I saw some of it, but I had to go to work, so I mean,
It
I don't know
just
what I
turned
missed
violent.
exactly,
A news article right here. The Hong Kong protest turns violent and standoff over China's control. I'm telling you, China's about ready to seize the colonized city of Hong Kong. And they're about ready to claim their right as a world power. Hold on one second. Hey, can you come inside and close the door? All right, close the door. Now, do you see the potential for the United States and China to go to a hot war, not this little cold trade war?
I mean, based on what's already been presented, by the news media, not just the news media, but what Trump is actually doing, I believe it because, China has a population of what, 2.1 or
1.5 billion.
1.5 billion. Every single country has been subject to population control as far as, global wars occurring, is concerned. Like, they have to institute a war in order to control that population. So absolutely, it'll always start off with something soft, like a trade war or, some type of BS soft war. Then there's the hard war, which is, Chinese troops on the coast of San Francisco, LA,
Yep.
Anchorage, Alaska. It'll get there. But the point is, like Mark from Anaheim has said, population control. You have to basically separate these nationalists that are willing to grab the gun. And you know what? I believe in this American BS. As much BS as it is, I'm willing to fight for it.
Because you believe in freedom, you believe in rights, you believe in civility.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying that rights and civility are BS, but
the way it's been implemented, it has been.
Childhood. The very day, I know you've been through public school just like I have. what did you do at the beginning of every class? You swore a pledge of allegiance to the flag of America. That is the institutional
Indoctrination.
behaviors that you are taught. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You have guys like that, you know what, as messed up as America is, as faulty as America is, I still believe in the concept of America. That's who we send out to the front lines. We did it in World War II. We did it in Vietnam. We're going to do it now.
I mean, I sense what you're saying, brother. And I don't think there's anybody in the chat room that would disagree. The ideal of the United States is right on point. Everybody wants to be free. Everybody, I believe, desires to be free. But until we get to a point where all citizens are taken serious and they're respected and they're treated with dignity and honor, then we're never going to get there, brother. And not only are we not going to get there, we're probably going to be cut short.
I mean, as far as, you know, you and me as, you know, black brothers, like, absolutely. I believe during Trump's second term, he'll more than likely get rid of us, right, as much as he can. There's a lot of horrible things coming in this man's second term that we've never imagined.
Right.
Like, he's definitely going to be more progressive towards the alt-right, anti-anything not white sort of crowd. I mean, for crying out loud, there was already a news story about how you have certain guys within the Army and the Navy who wear Trump badges on their uniform. And that's against Army rules. I mean, in a sense, because you're supposed to respect the office rather than the man itself.
Absolutely.
But you have guys who wear what? Trump badges. That basically means when, you know, SHTF happens, these guys will ride for whatever prerogative, whatever objective Trump has, contrary to what's in the best interest of this country, what's in the best interest of the Constitution that we call ourselves upholding.
Wow.
A lot of what we're seeing is a mirror of Nazi Germany, or should I say the Weimar Republic prior to it becoming the Nazi Germany that we know. And remember, folks, Nazi Germany was only alive for 12 years. Imagine how long America is going to exist as Nazi America, so to speak. You get what I'm saying?
You know, they're probably going to want it to exist for 1,000 years, brother. 1,000 years.
They will. They will. The money isn't going anywhere. It's just going from the poor people's pockets, even furthermore to the richest people pocket, to the point where there is no middle class. You are either rich
or you're
you
poor.
have a position in this society, or you are poor and you're nobody. You're dispensable.
You know,
That's where things are going.
I want to put this out there, what Brother Al said. True. Watch the moves that's about to go down in our country, bro. You know, Russia has been, you want to talk about collusion? Let's talk about collusion, folks. Russia has been known to basically fund people talking this anti-American shit, because my whole point is, if America goes down, Brother Murder, I'm asking you, forget everybody here in the show, forget everybody in the world, just you and me, brother. America goes down right now, this second. What country can you run to, brother, where you're going to be loved and respected and honored?
None, to be honest.
There it is. I'm right there with you in the same boat. Now, some brothers and sisters have the ability to go to another country and get love and respect and what you need to make it. But many of us don't have those ties. That's why I had to fight and I had to die here if need be. Right here. I'm not running from my homeland. This is my land.
I mean, the slave ancestors of yours, just like the slave ancestors of mine, they built this country to be this great military power that it is, regardless of whether or not they were in the military. You get what I'm saying? I don't care if I come from simple cotton and corn pickers.
Right.
Guess what? That cotton made up your uniform.
Yes,
it did. That corn fed you.
Yes, it did.
To fight the Civil War, to fight World War I, World War II. Guess what? My people have helped build the Washington Monument, the White House, so on and so forth. What a lot of people fail to understand. But the critical matter is white people, on average, refuse to respect that. They don't care. You got used for what you were there to be used for.
Well,
You
yeah.
serve your purpose. And that's it. You're not getting any compensation. You're not getting any recognition for what you've done. You served your job. I got rid of you. That's it. This is where we're at in America. America wants to act like, what was it, 1775? Imagine if white people got here and there was nobody here at all. No Indians, no blacks to bring over, no Spanish-speaking people to bring over. It was just, white man founded this, and white man has controlled this from day one, regardless of your contribution. That's where we're at in this country. These people are willing to rewrite history in this day and age.
They have. They're not willing to, brother. They have. They have rewrote.
You're right. You're right. It was a misspeaking on my part, but you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
This is all intentional. They want to act as if anybody that's native to this country has never been here. It is a purely white man's country. I'm responsible for this, that, and the third as far as American achievements. It doesn't matter what a black did, an Native American did, a Spanish speaker. It doesn't matter. I'm ignoring that all completely. This is a white man's country.
Yep.
White man founded it. White man did this, that, and the third. There were no Negroes involved. This is where we're at in America right now. And a lot of black people fail to realize that. They are wiping us off the map completely.
Damn, bro.
Imagine if you had a modern day map with Atlantis on it in the middle of the what? Atlantic Ocean? Atlantis is now gone. Guess what? The rest of the world is still here, and it's mine because I wrote the map. I designed the map from the first place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And nobody better not say nothing. This message that you're sharing with us, brothers, is timely. I know it's not a positive one. We're not sitting here, it's going to be cups of Kool-Aids and hamburgers, and we're just going to sing and dance Tangerine. No, we're not saying that. No, it's going to be death. It's going to be destruction. It's going to be sorrow. It's going to be pain. But if you're fortunate enough to survive, never allow this to happen again. Ever. Write this shit down in stone.
Absolutely. I mean, if you do make it past what's going to happen, I'll say as far as what's really going to get hot for black people, what's really going to be the sort of ringer for black people, it'll be the year 2020 contrary to 2019. You've had that guy, what's his name, Craddock or Baddock, the black man that shut up a lot of people in.
Oh, yes. Crodock or something like that. I know who you're talking about. I did a show about him out there in Virginia.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. You did a show about him. That is only the beginning. See, what you have to do is, as far as the rich and powerful are concerned, you have to further instigate the blacks.
Right.
Just like they had a riot in 92. You had the riot. I know, because, I never told you, but I live in Memphis. There was a riot here right after MLK got shot.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You have to instigate the blacks in order to make the whites make a decision.
All they have to do, and I say this jokingly, Dr. Short's the one that hit me to this. All they got to do is legalize or ban pussy. As soon as they ban pussy, then brothers will come out in droves. Oh, this is the last straw, bro. And they tell me I can't knock this chick up. They'll be suicide bombing the police station.
Brother Pat, you're a damn fool, but you're on point. I can't knock that. You're right. If they made it illegal for, us, everyday black guys to just
get pussy,
do what we do in the bedroom, absolutely, the average brother is going to act a fool.
That's when the hammer will come down. But this is why I love Brother David always keeping this in the thought. 3/5 of a man, 3/5 of the man. Now, we know that was pertaining to the plantation as far as population for determining how many representatives such an area can have and all that. But I think it has morphed into the very consciousness of many of the people running the show that, yes, We're just 3/5 of the man. The brain doesn't count. It's just the body on down. They're going to use our muscles to build shit, and they're going to use our sexual organs for their pleasure.
Brother Pat, I absolutely get what you're saying, but I want to share something with you.
All right.
You know how on a basic level you have to be some type of mason in order to, run shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
What if I told you that Black Masons, they can get their third, their 3 degrees on a basic Blue Lodge type of level. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, what if I told you that the white men who join the Masonry, they get an extra 1/3 of a degree, which will forever keep them in front of a Black Mason as far as the hierarchy. It doesn't matter how much land, how many companies a Black man owns. If you're a Black Mason, you're limited to those 3 degrees. A white man will forever have 1/3 of a degree over you, which means what? He will forever have seniority. He will forever have rank over you.
Now, does that even apply to the interracial lodges, or is that just pertaining to the old school breakdown?
No, this is absolute masonry. All your blacks have to go through Prince Hall masonry. Prince Hall gets you those 3 degrees. If you are white, of course you transcend that. The best way I can explain it is, being a Prince Hall Mason is really a step backwards.
Yes.
Contrary to full-on masonry. No white man's going to join Prince Hall when he can go straight to something like Scottish Rite or York Rite. You get what I'm saying?
Get the power and the knowledge.
Right. Power and knowledge, power and the social approval of your what? Your brothers.
Right.
Not to mention your brothers are already powerful guys to begin with. CEOs, presidents, you name it.
Sheriffs, generals.
The Black man who joins a Prince Hall Masonry lodge, he's already limited. Because guess what? Like I already said, the white man already has 1/3 of a degree ahead of you. You will never catch up with that 1/3 of a degree.
No,
you will never.
Brother Murray, but don't you see
you're
that
always a sucker, or you're always an assistant to what they want you to do. Yes, sir.
It's like you're like basically saying that you're serving them in many ways, but don't you see that Masonry has declined just as the church numbers? A lot of young people are not going into these situations nowadays.
What if I told you the young people have been discouraged to join these groups, join these fraternities, because there's no need for them?
Wow.
The plan has already been
identified.
What's already done has already been done. I don't really need you to do something like, once again, as I've already mentioned, I don't need you to shoot a president like JFK. I don't need you to shoot an established political figure like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. A lot of the work that needed to be established and done has already been done. That's really what shows you where we are in the world. Things are coming to an end.
And rightfully so.
Because
I hate to say it, rightfully so. If we're not going to love and cherish the Most High first and foremost, and then love and cherish each other, then what are we doing here? We're just making a bunch of selfish, narcissistic people full of hate, full of envy, and full of greed.
They are only that way. I agree with you, but they are only that way because you have been taught to do the work of evil people. There are people at the absolute pinnacle. Once again, CIA, FSB, MI6, you name it. At the top, these guys work together, and they want you to be miserable. They want you to be angry. They want you to be in a state of despair, because that serves their purposes. It doesn't serve your personal purposes. I've already said it, we aren't really people to the most powerful, the most rich.
Right.
We are sheeple. We are sheep with people-like capabilities. That's it.
That's
we do what we're told to do. Yeah.
I
There's
don't
a
want to
great
be a sheeple,
comedian.
though, brother.
I'm not sure if you're familiar. I'm sorry.
I said, I don't want to be a sheeple. I don't want to go to the slaughterhouse led by the Judas goat for my ultimate demise.
The fact that you don't want to be is a good thing because you are knowledgeable enough to know what's going on, and you have a soul, you have a conscience, contrary to the program. You're not willing to go along with, you know, let's just say, let's take this into the election type of realm where, a person will sit here and say, I'd rather vote for the lesser of two evils.
Right.
At the end of the day, you're still voting for evil.
You
You're
did.
still voting for evil. And the lesser of two evils is still evil. I
All
mean,
the
you
way.
don't get away with, okay, one guy touches kids and murders women, the other guy steals a lot of money and has sex outside of his marriage. You get what I'm saying? Evil is evil. But this is how the average person thinks. I'd rather have the lesser of two what? Evils. It's still evil.
I don't want no evil. I don't want less evil. I don't want more evil. I want
I'm
an
on the same page
eradication.
with you. I
of evil.
absolutely don't disagree. I want a guy that's genuinely good.
Right. I don't care what
But
he
this
looks
is where we
like.
are.
But that's what
the
he'll
average
do.
person.
What's that? What did you say, brother? I didn't catch that last bit.
No, I was saying that's the average person's thinking. Like, the difference between at the time Mitt Romney and Obama.
Yes.
The lesser of two evils in a lot of people's eyes was what? Obama. But guess what? He was evil. It didn't change just because you chose the lesser option. How about this, Brother Pat? I put a 50-pound weight on your back, or I put the 100-pound weight on your back. Which one are you going to choose?
I think I choose 50.
Guess what? It's still weight on your back.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like they give you the illusion of freedom of choice, the illusion of freedom of will. But like you said, either choice, you're still going to be working for you, pushing this weight on your back.
Right. If you've ever seen the logo for the Scottish Rite Masons, I mean, I don't mean to bring this up every single time I talk, but I mean, the Masons have a very important place with what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But if you've ever seen the Scottish Rite logo, so to speak, it is a double-headed eagle. That double-headed eagle means that there's control over the western side of this world and the eastern side of this world. What does that translate to? Anything that has a duality. For every Democrat, there's a Republican.
Yes.
For every right-handed person, there's a left-handed person. You get what I'm saying? That's what it stands for. It's basically there to show you that we control both what's going on the left side of the world and the right side of the world. It doesn't matter how you compartmentalize that. Democrat, like I said, Democrat, Republican, left-handed person, right-handed person. It doesn't matter. I control you either side of the fence.
Wow. I got the image that you're talking about, the Scottish Rite. It's the two eagles.
Yes, sir. I see it with the double-headed eagle.
And the 32 in the pyramid, the so-called second lowest rank. There's more degrees past 33, but most people only believe there's only 33. So,
I mean, I agree. The average Mason is exposed to the 32, but only those of certain, prestige or those of certain rank.
Right.
They get invited. The key word, invited. They have to like you, like what you're doing, so on and so forth in the world to get to that 33rd degree. Remember now, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt,
right,
was a 33rd degree Mason.
Right.
They have to. They appeal to you. What's the best way to say it? I remember on a job interview. Don't call us. We'll call you. As far as that 33rd degree is concerned. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they want you to be on the level before they bring you up into that. You got to be square. You see, the thing about it is when we look at these little secret societies, all we're in essence looking at is the old school espionage wings of the people in power. Because with the Scottish Rite and the Mason, just like the Catholic Church, They got access to common man and woman, and they can get the information like, oh, we're going to be doing something over here. And then that information can be taken to somebody that can make things either happen good for it or happen bad for it.
Right. I mean, there's not to mention just that, but there's all types of books and scrolls, information that the average person will never have access to. There's all types of books on what really is going on in this world, satanic rituals, you name it, that the average person will never have access to. This is what these guys indulge in. I mean, these guys, whether they know it or not, just like I've said before, you can work for the CIA and never know it.
Right.
Same thing with whether or not you're a Mason. Inner circle, outer circle. More than likely, 99% of your population that is Masons or, Knights of Columbus, you name it, they are outer circle. You do my work. The inner circle, I tell you what to do. You get what I'm saying?
Right. And you better do it, or else guess what? You die.
Right, absolutely right.
Once
again, JFK, he was a Knight of Columbus, but clearly at some point he lost track of who was really running things.
Well, that's what happens when you're more, JFK was no angel. JFK, let's explain what he really was. He was a man of power. He was adulterous. He was a fornicator of other men's wives. He was he was just a sexual pervert. That's what he was. He could not control, as a man, he could not control his sexual desires and just be with his woman. That right there shows you a huge character flaw. A huge one.
To add on to that, he was also very much a fan of secret operations that were conducted by the CIA. But he got to a point where the CIA, last minute, pulled back what? Support from the Bay of Pigs invasion?
Yes.
And that was done intentionally. I forget the man's name, and I apologize for forgetting this man's name. But someone within his administration, last minute, pulled back support, air support, naval support for what? The Bay of Pigs invasion.
I think that was General McGraven, or the general that was running the Vietnam War. McGraven.
Was it Westmoreland?
Yes, Westmoreland. General Westmoreland. I believe he's the one that pulled back authorizations for air support on that operation.
And the thing is, that embarrassed Kennedy. And Kennedy, as a man, he's, not just a man, but a prestigious man, the president of the United States, he wasn't going to take that. So what happened following to that was what? He made Allen Dulles of the CIA, he forced him to resign. That was the first no move. You get what I'm saying? The bad move on behalf of JFK. You don't remove a Knight of Malta from his office. You get what I'm saying?
Or we'll remove you from this earth.
Absolutely. You don't mess with the Knights of Malta to that degree. He was a Knight of Columbus, which is a, Catholic secret society. But at the same time, Knights of Malta outrank every single Knight of Columbus. I want people, that's listening today to remember that. You don't mess with the hierarchy. A Knights Templar will not be messed with by a Knight of Malta. And I say that because the Knight of Malta, if you're really about your stuff, about your evil doing, you get to progress to Knights Templar, just like a guy like, say, Ted Kennedy. I say the real deal billionaires of this world, those are the guys that are Knights Templar. They surpass Knights of Malta. Ted Turner, the guy that owns pretty much what? CNN, you name it.
Right. Ted had too much power. And I want to do a correction. I believe Nass has it right. I think it was Allen Dulles, the CIA director during Kennedy's time that told them not to give them air support. I'm fairly sure it's him. It wasn't the other.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And Kennedy, trying to flex his muscles as president of the U.S., he made Alan Dulles forcefully resign.
Ugh, I can't believe that. You know, we look at history, and it's so whack how history has been skewed and basically watered down to fit a certain narrative. It's just quite pathetic. It really is. So, do you think that the Masonry in cabal with the Catholics, in cabal with the small hats, are the real triangle of power on this earth?
I mean, this coming from a place where I have Masonic family members and whatnot.
Right.
If you really want to go if you really want to know what's going on in your city, your town, as far as the flat facts, like truth,
Right.
you have to be a Mason. You get what I'm saying? So as far as the truth is concerned, what else is outside of that? The actions that's going on, the evil that's going on. So, I mean, of course, these guys are sort of gatekeepers or orchestrators
Yep.
of a lot of the mess that's going on, so to speak.
You remember back in the 90s, right? When we had that little AIDS deal, it was just started coming out, right? And black churches, I remember the article. We're talking about they're going to start teaching their young people how to use condoms and shit. I'm like, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. You know, I mean, what about morality? What about ethics? Once we compromise on our morality and ethics, what we should be standing on, that's when it all crumbles. And that's why we see the churches in the state they are today.
Yes, sir. But also in the 1990s, who was president? I mean, I don't know what
Bill Clinton.
Point in. You say Clinton?
Yeah, in the 90s.
Yes, sir. Clinton was all basically pre-positioning the office for who?
He was doing it for Bush's son.
Absolutely. Bill Clinton was part of that family line just as much as H.W. Bush is. I'm sure, as you already know, all presidents are related.
Right. By
and
blood.
The past 5 presidents that we've had have basically expanded this sort of dictatorship-like power over the American people.
Mm-hmm. It's the ultimate nepotism. You got cousins, you got uncles, you got aunts, you got all these people in various departments, heads throughout the government. That's how this one family can totally dominate the political spectrum. And then you also take into account the divisiveness of the so-called political parties, which are totally un-American in their concepts and application, because they artificially use just enough people to get the majority as a voting bloc mass, and it negates individual freedom.
Yes, sir. I mean, the 41st president, I don't know if you remember from a previous show, George Sherf, which is basically, George Sherf Sr., which is basically Prescott Bush, and his son was what? H.W. Bush, as Mark from Anaheim would call him, Daddy Bush.
Right.
These guys were Nazis. You get what I'm saying? And basically what happened with the 31st president was you already had a Nazi hijack the White House.
Right. And then academia soon followed after that.
But with him being a Nazi, his mission wasn't necessarily to eliminate blacks. As much as I hate to admit it, the black people in this country are really just a cherry on top for America. You know when America has turned to right-wing fascism once they got rid of the blacks. The same blacks they put on TV, talk that, excuse my language, but nigger shit.
Mm-hmm.
Talk that killing other black folks, talk that selling dope, talk that,
this genocide.
Black women don't do this,
genocide.
Black women don't do that. It has already gotten to a point where they're done with us. Steve Harvey lost the show. Empire's off TV.
But those are
all these young boy rappers who's getting locked up. They're getting in trouble. Black entertainment is done with because the white people are no longer entertained by us. Hello, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I had to go and check on these kids back there. They were jumping on beds. Didn't want them
Yes,
to
sir. Take
bust
care
their
of your
heads.
legacy. I understand.
You know, but I heard what you were saying. Look, we got to understand that there is another entity that we have not been talking about this whole conversation, which is truly the root, and that is the one who is fallen, Satan, the evil one, the devil. He's the one who's orchestrating that whole team. He's the one that's ensuring that people are still in the delusion that money matters. A piece of paper printed by a private corporation governs your life. It determines how much time you spend with your family. It determines what neighborhood you live in. It determines all your entertainment options. Because we believe in fiat currency. If we can end that destructive concept, because money, economic systems are nothing more than systems of control and manipulation for the lower classes within said nation. And yeah, hold on, brother Al. They are collecting the souls, and these folks want to keep what they have gained. It all started with Crosby. Crosby. I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with that name. I mean, you know, like with the Steve Harvey in Empire and those shows. I'm not gonna miss them. I'm not gonna miss that devil loving perversion. I'm not gonna miss that. I'm not gonna miss the fake sincerity and concern. I'm not gonna miss that.
Brother Pat, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, excellent. It's amazing you brought up what Bill Cosby is that?
Yeah, Bill Cosby.
I want to bring your attention to something. I don't know how old you are. I don't care, but have you ever seen a movie called Let's Do It Again?
No.
Okay, this is a really old movie. It's back in the 70s. Bill Cosby, Sidney Poitier. Basically, the movie, the premise is these two guys are the members of a secret fraternal lodge known as the Brothers and Sisters of Shaka.
What?
As in Shaka Zulu. Yes. I mean, and you can watch this movie for free on YouTube. They're part of a fraternal order, and basically what they do is the lodge or the membership that they're part of, they need money because they have to move to a new building. So what Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier do is they scam these gangsters out of money, and so that they can fund their new building. And what happens is the gangsters catch on to their little scam. You have the pictures on right here. I see it.
Yeah.
Where they have the pyramids and the number 11, and the number 11 is very much satanic and Masonic. That was
crazy.
One of Bill Cosby's sort of paying dues type of movies. He didn't do many, but there are very few movies out here that acknowledges what fraternal organizations, secret organizations, as much secret as it is. What I learned from that movie is the fact that black people will scam other black people as long as they feel like or sense that they are part of a different stratus or a different level of society. You know what I'm saying? If I'm bigger than you, if I've earned these RIGS's rights, not rights as your right hand, but there are certain rights that has to be earned by a guy like Bill Cosby in order to be where he was. Keyword was, now look at where he is.
Right.
So the point I'm trying to make is, regardless of how much a black man peddles this Masonic or basically satanic mess, they're going to put a stopgap in your stuff at some point.
Well, of course, because The whole point is for you to leave souls astray. It's not for you to become economically viable. Even though that's the hook. That's the bait. They bait you with the money. You're gonna be rich, you're gonna be famous, but you gotta put on this dress. Oh, and you gotta act like a gangbanger with tassels in your hair and sucking on a damn pacifier. You got to do that. But as soon as you do that, we're going to put these bills in your account. And brothers and sisters line up to play such a derogatory role for just a handful of coins.
It's the equivalent of what Judas did to Jesus. I forget the exact number. Excuse me. I'm not an exact
17 shekels.
biblical scholar, but
he sold out Jesus for 17 shekels.
Sold out for what, 20 pieces of silver?
17 shekels.
17. Yes, sir. 17 pieces of silver. I mean, what the Boule house Negro black does is he sells us out for 17 pieces of silver. It doesn't matter if it amounts to, in this day and age, $1 billion like Jay-Z or a couple 100,000 like some street punk that sells a lot of drugs. Black folks have to practice a sort of cannibalism, to each other.
Because there's no consequence. Look, I think most of these hustlers and con men and women understand quite fundamentally. If they run their cons on, let's just say, the non-melanated portion of this country, there's going to be extreme reaction. But if they run their scam on the melanated section of this country, no one's going to give a damn. Probably go unreported. Are you there, brother?
I'm still with you. I'm sorry, sir.
It's all good. It's all good. No, I'm just looking at all these damn movies, headlines, and it's like, at the top, it was the Bill Cosby, but now we went to Howard Stern and all these other, the Mockingbird chick, and, you don't see no melanated people. Well, here it is, Jet, the poster from Jet magazine. So
yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah.
So you got Billy Walker, Sidney Poitier.
A lot of black folks are failing to realize what they did to Bill Cosby, and as far as famous names, that's been passed on to what? R. Kelly. R. Kelly is now receiving the heat for, the mess he's been doing all of his career. It's already been a well-known fact since what? 2001, 2002.
Oh, yeah.
R. Kelly likes young women. And by young, I mean under 18.
Right. You really mean young women. Well, there's a history.
White people, as far as the court case he went through, all the way up until now, these people knew what R. Kelly does, and they let him get through. They let him pass.
Yeah,
they gave him pass for that.
But why? Now, because he only targets young black women. The reason why, think about how many white girls did R. Kelly bang again? How many?
I can't tell, but most
I don't think he did none
against him, or the two that were on. I forget the network, but they were speaking to Gayle King, Oprah's, what's the term I'm looking for? Oprah's girlfriend, former girlfriend. She spoke to them, and one of those black girls was saying R. Kelly didn't do anything wrong or anything that I didn't want him to do, so to speak. And that's two women out of what? 25, 30 women that have said that at a young age, R. Kelly has done this and that to me. Remember now, the industry will protect its prized products. I'm not going to lose any money just because I want to do the right thing and put like a child toucher like R. Kelly behind jail.
Well, yeah, look, we got to understand. It's sort of like this story right here. Did U.S. Special Forces kill a giant in Kandahar? Now, that's one of the stories when John Lear was on, we talked about, is that there are giants, there are mythical things in this world that was been written of. And for one, think about this, Brother Murder. In all of the world's cultures that was allegedly separated or isolated for hundreds, if not thousands of years, they all have depictions and stories of what? Dragons all over the world, flying reptiles, fire-breathing dragons.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
So what's going on is what I'm asking. What is really going on? One of the names for the devil is the beast.
6.
Huh?
Genesis 6. If you can read from, if you don't mind bringing that up, from Genesis 6 moving forward, you basically have human history. I can't quote that off the top, but basically the fallen angels and their wickedness have spread to humanity over all the ages.
Yes.
Something like the I don't even paraphrase. But
no, here I got right here. The sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Noah was a righteous man, blameless amongst the people of his time, and he walked with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Joshaphat. All right.
Yeah, that's right. But there's a book called Genesis 6 Theory by Gary Cooper, I believe I'm correct, Gary Cooper, and he covers basically how the fallen angels, Satan, the war against God, and how that is translated into how several cultures revere the dragon, they revere the green snake, how the green snake is representative of what's his name? The Egyptian god. Not Isis, not Set. What's his name? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting right now.
No, there's the Anubis.
No, the green skin god, the one that's supposed to rise from the dead and judge. He was the husband of Isis.
Right, that he gets killed, and Isis finds all of his chopped up body, puts him together, and the last piece she finds is his hard dick and puts that on there, and then he rises again.
Right. I forget his name. Please excuse me, audience. But
Osiris.
I forget his name.
Osiris,
yes. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Osiris, yes. All these things are tied together.
Well, yes, absolutely. I mean, look, a lot, especially the series I did with the atheists when they were breaking down the Bible and all divine books, they are going to use these old stories as like a template for it's all fairy tale. If you believe in these old stories, you might as well believe in Jack and Jill ran up the hill. Humpty Dumpty, that was, canon. You're supposed to believe in that.
Santa Claus.
Or Santa Claus, please. Yeah. So this is all an attempt to keep you off of wanting to serve God and to get you off into, oh, you are God. And more importantly, there is no God of the universe. That's what this is ultimately about. And we got to understand some of these books have been rewritten. They've been translated woefully to be wrong to suit the agenda of the day it was printed in. If you don't want to follow the stuff that's on your heart, I suggest you actually learn how to read the manuscripts and go to the original manuscripts and know interpretation if you're that serious about it. Because the reality is the dude that interpret these books has another dude out here now that can rip them down, because the dude that can rip them down know from his uncle or grandfather he knows they put this shit in the book wrong to begin with. It's not that he's brilliant, it's just that he's playing the game. Think about this for 1 second. If you're supposed to understand God by faith, by understanding through that way, you don't need a book. You don't need manuscripts. You don't need any of that. All you really need is to take your butt out to nature, sit there in the woods with the rocks and the water around you, and commune with God. Truly commune. And then come up out of them woods and go to work and build something. Build something for humanity. Build something to help ease the suffering, pain, and sorrow of humanity. And then it's all good. But most of us ain't trying to do that. We're just trying to continue on the oppression. As long as you get a couple more dollars, then it's cool, because you'll feel as if you succeeded. But I'm telling you, you're just as lost. Your possessions can be taken in a fraction of a second, and you're not liberated. Therefore, you, my friend, are not free. Brother Murders, you still there?
Yeah, I was just hearing what you had to say. I hate to cut you off.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm going to.
What people fail to realize is that the kingdom of heaven whatever you believe you go to after you die as a Christian man or woman, is that the sort of pleasure or sort of pleasantness that you expect. It isn't what we human pleasure and post-human pleasure are two totally different things.
It has to be because you won't have a body.
Pleasure to me in heaven is freedom from what? Freedom from money, freedom from despair, freedom from hatred,
freedom from hunger, from lust.
You know what I'm saying? It's freedom from these certain human intangibles that we have to deal with. That's my pleasure. I would love to get to a point where I don't even experience hate. I don't have hate towards you.
Right.
You don't hate me.
Right.
I would love to be in a place where, we're not subject to money. You don't have to pay for water anymore. You don't have to pay for food. You don't have to pay for a place to stay.
You won't need none of that.
That happened to me.
Yes. And we could have that down here on earth. We could have that down here on earth. You wouldn't have to wait to die to experience that, brother. But until we get our thing together, until we get our hub, our base of operation, well, we're just going to have more of the same old, the ups and the downs and the all arounds. And by the way, Brother Murder, while I got you on the phone, hold on. I want to make sure everybody can see this. I just want you to be aware that you owe the United States government $182,124. You can make that payable to the IRS.
Do you mean Ignatius Revenue Service? Which is basically modeled after the Catholic Church, just like the Federal Reserve, for folks that don't know.
Yeah, so they operate on what's known as maritime law. That's why we have words like birth. You literally come out of your mother's waters. Just like a ship, you're released from your birth, and that's when the straw man gets generated.
I'm very much familiar with maritime law. I mean, the average fool that shows the court doesn't know that if there's a golden trim around that flag, you are subject to maritime law.
Yep.
Do you want to know where I learned that from?
Where?
It wasn't Jordan Maxwell or a guy like that speaks on these topics. It was an episode of King of the Hill, with Hank Hill and his wife Peggy. Dale Gribble, you know Dale.
Right.
He was in court, and, there was a little funny excerpt where he pointed that out. Like, Judge, I'm subject to maritime law, and I can't be subject to two different jurisdictions. It was funny in that moment, but I really learned something, that little episode of a cartoon, so to speak, where if I show up to a court of law, any sort of common law mess that I want to preach or speak is irrelevant. I'm in a maritime court of law. I'm subject to that law.
Right. You are. And this is global, my friend. This isn't just localized to the United States of America. This is global.
The United Corporation of America. I wish they would change the name officially. It needs to be the United Corporations of America.
Well, that's what it is.
It was never the United States as far as what? When Lincoln got assassinated or when FDR got in office, it was never the United States of America. It's the United Corporations of America.
Because corporations are people too. Well, we are up at the 1 hour mark, Yao. I'm going to keep this, but I try to do about an hour or so. Brother Murders, you got anything to add or say before we complete the broadcast today?
All I want to add is that I want the people to remember that at the highest levels, these guys are working together. William Barr, Donald Trump, Pence, even Mueller. Because remember now, Mueller got Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the guy of Lolita Express. He got him off.
That was Mueller's work?
I believe he was head of the FBI at the time.
Wow. And he supposed to indict. That's so sad. Because if he really wanted to impeach old boy, all he really had to do was look at Jeffrey Epstein's manifest and flight record, showing that Donald jumped on a plane in New York, ended up down on the island, stayed down there for a few days, and came back. What do you think he was doing down there? Just playing golf.
Negative, sir. If you can look at that, I mean, it's on Google. You can just Google Epstein's Island, or anything related to Jeffrey Epstein. His little island has a little shack, so to speak, a little place on it where it looks like this old Babylonian temple. There's an elevator. If you show up to the island, it's not a whole little house or place within that island. It's an elevator that takes you subterranean down to basically a big old rape, incest area. This is where they do their satanic rituals,
Yep.
so on and so forth. And a lot of the powerful guys are tied to him. Obama himself, as much as black folks love Obama, change this, change that. That boy himself was pocket change to black folks. Because he didn't change a damn thing.
Unless you were gay, now you can marry Jerome.
Right.
Legally.
I mean, not to mention, as far as what I've heard, I won't say this is fact, but Obama was gay, and his wife was more likely a transsexual. This is what they do to black people. They don't even know it. But, I have reason to believe on both scales that, it's plausible. I won't say it's absolute fact. But, once again, closing statements, you don't want to go over an hour. I understand.
No, it's all good because there's an article that just popped up. Black Missouri drivers 90% more likely to be stopped, state attorney general's fine. Now, just on that alone, we should have some sort of reparations given. How many black people lost jobs because this cop fucking stopping them and they become late for their work? 3 times in a row, you're fired. How many black people were detained by these cops so they couldn't even get to the interview and they didn't get an opportunity to even apply for the job correctly? This thing has dramatic effects. You see,
brother Pat, you're funny, but I understand you deliver serious, real information. But you're being a funny guy right now. Why? Because you already know it. Us blacks are not getting any type of reparations. I don't care what Bernie Sanders says. We had 8 years of a so-called black man in office. He didn't give us that in the slightest way. You really think under a Trump, under a Pence, under potentially a Ted Cruz, that we would get reparations for anything?
No.
Regardless of the inconvenience, regardless of the situation. You get what I'm saying?
I get
it. They're not cutting you a check for shit, so to speak. So, I get what you're saying. They're absolutely wrong for what they did, but they're not going to pay it forward to us in any shape, form, or fashion. Damn. If they do pay it forward to us, it will be from the front of a rifle.
Paid in full.
Paid damn right. Full. You're damn right, brother.
Damn.
I will lie.
See, this is what people better hear, man. I seriously, I really hope that people heed the warning that we're trying to give them. They really heed it because, man, when the hammer comes, and I keep using that analogy for a reason, when the hammer comes, there's not going to be no consideration given for how honorable you are, Brother Murder, how pious you are, Brother Murder, how kind to all you are. It will not matter. The only thing that's going to matter is you have too much melanation in your skin. End of story.
Absolutely. It does. For those out there that's listening, it doesn't matter what fraternal organization as a black man you join. I'm going to make up some mess, Sigma, Kappa, Alpha, or whatever. It doesn't matter what you've pledged to. These people, they don't need you. They don't need you at all. This country has to turn towards right wing, as I've said before, zero tolerance, fascism. They don't need Negroes.
They don't
want Jews. They don't want the Hispanics. There will be some Asians in this country because, believe it or not, as small as their population is, they control a lot of assets. They control a lot of money that is coming in out of this country.
Look at this. Armed neo-Nazis gets a police escorts to disrupt Detroit's pride. Here's the guys pissing on Israel's flag, which really doesn't affect me, seeing how those people aren't the real Israels. But the fact that these cats, that symbol right there, that's not hate, that's heritage. These boys here are Germans, and this is their heritage. And then
Right.
look at the black
Absolutely.
cop over here just standing, and you got the gay flag right here. This video is horrible. This not video, but this picture. It shows so much dysfunction. You know, this man over here should be arresting these two as terrorists. This man here should be going on about his business, not looking at this man peeing on that. That's disgusting in its own little way. But Mark from Anaheim has really been posting a lot about activities of white nationalists. And I really do suggest you guys stop by his Facebook page and take a look. Take a look. Because it's right in our face.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Because, I mean, what a lot of black people, once again, fail to realize is that a lot of these white cops, they play the role as, you know, I'm just an officer on patrol. But these guys belong to certain white nationalist groups
Right.
that are exclusive to the police, you know, the LA Vikings, the Nords, so on and so forth. There are certain groups within within certain police departments where these guys are exclusively anti-Negro. We don't want your right. If I can get away with shooting you, I will.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and they will.
And I mean, these guys have tattoos on their ankle, tattoos in hidden places. You wouldn't see it in a fully uniformed cop. But if you strip that guy butt naked, he has all types of tattoos that shows what? He's part of these police white nationalist groups that are basically ready for SHTF so that what? They can kill blacks indiscriminately.
Right.
Oh no, there was a riot in, you know, St. Louis. There was a riot in New York. Let me kill, you know, 10, 15 blacks with my little pistol. Or you know what? I got a shotgun in the trunk. Let me shoot a couple of those. You know, they were taking cigarettes and freaking TVs from the store. You know, like that's worth shooting somebody over.
But it is. Don't you understand? Property means more than 3/5 of a man.
Absolutely.
Look at how they responded to Ted Bundy's, not Ted Bundy's. Ted Bundy's, the guy out there in Nevada. All right, him and his crew goes up to Oregon or Washington, I believe, one of those two states, take over a federal building, and they're sending them in with pizzas. Here, pizzas, let's talk. St. Louis, a black man gets killed, straight up, black boy, young man gets killed. People get upset, and they bring in the fucking armored vehicles and every damn law enforcement from St. Louis to Springfield, Missouri. They were busting in cops from all over the state to make sure that those black folks are suppressed by force.
Absolutely. I mean, not to separate from that story, it's all related. But did you hear about the cop up in like Illinois or Ohio? He shot a man inside the cell he was in. Like the guy who was like an inmate or whatever, he didn't even struggle with the cop. The cop pulled out his pistol, shot him, and guess what he did?
What?
Honestly, guess.
He said, "I'm sorry for you shooting me."
Hell no, you making jokes. I'm being serious. guess what this guy did?
What did he
resigned. He resigned shortly after, got his pension, and was found innocent in a sense of the shooting itself. You can't prosecute a guy who did something as a cop if he's no longer a cop anymore.
What?
No, these guys are brothers. I mean, a lot of, I'm willing to say, 99% of any sort of county police, county sheriffs, city police, these guys are all FOP. FOP meaning what? Fraternal Order of Police.
Right.
These guys are Masons still. They protect each other. These guys are brothers.
That's the real blue
So more
shield.
likely, this guy was given an allowance or, you know, a sort of excuse to shoot any guys they wanted to before they made they were out. You get what I'm saying? He already has pension coming. He already has benefits coming. He can shoot anybody he wants to. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Wait, hold on. Brother Al said, Pat, we are still live. I've been shut down 5 times since my giant post. That's BS, man. I'm so tired of the listener getting messed with. It's bad enough they mess with my phone. It's bad enough they can just shut me down whenever. But to mess with the listener just to try to get the information, this is totally unacceptable. Now, hold on. I'm trying to find the story that Brother Al was talking about, sick pigs over in China.
My business and Benson.
And I'm sorry, brother. More than likely, your phone's going to be whackety whack because you called into the show, or the show called you, actually. But, either or. You know what I'm saying? Once they link into one phone number, they just spider web out from there. Oh, therapeutic figs found beaten to death. I think that's what he's talking about. Have you ever heard of a therapeutic pig? Brother Murder, you there? Hello? What the hell? Hold on. So I was just talking about this. This is unacceptable, yeah. No, he might have gone. He might have gone. You know what? Brother Murder, I did not delete that phone call. I did not kill that phone call. You know what I'm saying? This is just crazy. Don't think that the one I'm thinking was mentioned by Judge Joe Brown in the interview. Oh, well, I think he was talking about Michael Jackson in the limousine. I will try to find that, and I will post it on the community. Check it out right here on the community. When you go to my channel, just go right, scroll here, and click the community tab. Oh, there he is. Hey, brother, you back?
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. I don't know what happened. I didn't, click off on you or anything.
No, I didn't click. I just tried to call. It's like I was just talking about how I'm so bad that they mess with the listener, and now they're messing with the guest. People. It's like they just like, okay, just shut him down now, Dano. Okay, click, and my shit just all disappears.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, that Mark from Anaheim connection might have cost you a little bit of,
Privacy.
Might have cost you a little something because.
Or Wayne Madison.
I mean. Yeah, Wayne. Yeah, absolutely. The closer you get, the bigger you get. You know how that happens.
Yes. Well, brother, I'm gonna wrap it up. But I just want to make sure that you were square with. I did not terminate the phone call. It just disappeared.
No, you're good. It has to be somebody in between you and me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and I'm tired of it. All we are just brothers from the Midwest, from the country, from the planet Earth. And all we're trying to do is just talk to each other, encourage one another to be a better person. We're not out here trying to hurt nobody. We're out here trying to avoid the hammer collectively, to avoid getting hurt ourselves. But we're not out here talking about, we're going to get a couple of pistols and do this. No, we're not. We're talking about surviving the reset. We're talking about making food bundles for you and your family. We're talking about how to do proper gardening, how to store seeds, how to live after it's all shut down.
Yes,
I want to see every one of you guys survive.
Spreading information with each other on things that's already been done. We can't change what's already happened.
Nope.
I can sit here and talk all day about who really got JFK killed. It doesn't change the fact that JFK is already dead. MLK, same thing. His brother Bobby, same thing. JFK's son, same thing. It doesn't matter how much we talk about it or how much we spread information. What's done is done.
Yes, and until we realize we can't, this is my, I guess, conundrum. I do respect and understand history, but the way it's kind of perpetrated, it's like good enough just to know that a black man invented the automotive assembly line. It's supposed to be just good enough. A black man invented peanut, Dr. Carver. But that's not good enough. All these past historical deals, because black man may have invented the shit, but the white boy owns the patent. See, there's the problem.
Right, sir. Yes, sir. You ain't lying.
And I'm so tired of us trying to relive this fucking past glory when we can have glory now, right now, today. We can have glory.
Thanks.
But we have to do this together. We have to do this together. We cannot, we're so strong independently. We're so strong because it takes a strong person to go through what many of us have gone through in this life. It takes a super strong person. But we're going to have to put away our hard-headedness and really come sincerely and honestly together to work on building a ladder to get out of this hole we're collectively in. So, on that note, y'all, I'm going to end the show on a high note. Unity and peace and power. Up. Let's get up. Let's do this. Unity and power.
All right, Brother Pat, I thank you once again for giving me a chance to speak on your show and, show what I know, so to speak.
Right. You're always welcome,
much,
brother.
But
you're always welcome. And I want to tell you straight up, I appreciate you being with the show as long as you have been. You know, the ups and the downs, the good shows, the flop shows, the shows in between. You know, I appreciate your support, man. Really. Because I know there's a brother out there thinking about these things that I'm thinking of as well. And until we stop thinking about these things, then that's when the final nail's in the coffin, that we're over. But as long as we're out here thinking, that means that we're contemplating new movements we can do. We can overcome. We shall overcome. But we're gonna have to jazz that shit up.
Old civil rights bus rider. Come on now. I get the message. You sound like one of those freedom riders. I took the bus from Baltimore all the way to Memphis. I hear you.
I still ain't got no one registered to vote yet. What about you, sir? See, we have to laugh, brother. If we don't laugh, we'll be.
Absolutely. I remember my grandfather used to tell me, sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying.
Right. And this is what I like, Brother Al. We had to start telling the difference between his story and history. See, his story is his story, and it slants it towards him. In other words, let's look at this deal here. Columbus discovered America in 1942 or 1492. So therefore, that one thought just smashed all the native and the Olmecs, the Aztecs, the Mayans, all that just got squashed. Y'all didn't even exist until old boy came through on that ship, those 3 ships, and set up shop. That's his story. History, there were people on this continent for thousands of years.
I hear rain.
You hear rain?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it is rain. All right, y'all. Well, this is True Power's Mind. This has been TPIM SR Live. Today's date, 6/12/2019, the year of our Lord. I want to thank Brother Murder for being a show contribution today. I want to thank everybody in the chat room. And as always, live your life with integrity, without hate, envy, or greed. And as always, brothers and sisters, let's be kinder to each other. Peace and power. I'm out.